What's up, guys? Matt here. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my top 3 underdog picks for this week. For week 1, I gave out 3 picks. Unfortunately, those didn't go so hot. I went 1 and 2. The only underdog that I got right was the Vikings. Jaguars almost had it. They got 2 picks and Carson Wentz on back-to-back throws. Then they let him score 2 straight touchdowns. Ended up being an L. The Rams, that game was never close. Took an L there. But every week, there are going to be underdogs that are going to win. The Steelers, I liked them covering. I didn't have the stones to take their money line. The Seahawks, I liked them covering. Didn't have the stones to take their money line. The Bears, I simply had no idea. That one I was completely wrong on. But for this week, there are a couple teams that I like for their money line odds, the underdog. The only rule for this is the underdogs has to be plus money. So I don't think there is an example this week, but there can't be a situation where it's a pick-em and no team's moneyline odds have plus money. What is really cool is you can browse all of the NFL odds completely free on OddsJam.com. So you go to sports, you go to NFL, and it pulls up the best moneyline odds for every single game. For some reason, we have 2 Monday night games this week. I'm not sure why, because they're not even staggered. They're at like 7:15 and 8:30 Eastern. Doesn't really make sense to me. But pretty cool that you can see and browse all of these odds. So looking through the slate, there's actually a decent amount of underdogs that I like. The Chargers, Justin Herbert has only lost to the Chiefs twice in his career. The first time was that his literal first ever time playing in the NFL, his first start, when he found out like 10 minutes before the game that he was starting. Played incredible. Chargers lost that game in overtime. Last year, the Chargers lost to the Chiefs again in overtime. So the only times that Herbert has lost to the Chiefs has been in OT. But I still can't quite pull the trigger on the Chargers on this one. I do like them to cover that spread at 3.5. Not quite there for the moneyline underdog. But the Dolphins, I wouldn't be surprised if they won. The Commanders, after fading them last week, I wouldn't be surprised if they won. I mean, the Lions being favored, I don't know. The Colts have literally never won in Jacksonville, and I forget how many tries, but it's been a lot. Frank Reich has never won in Jacksonville. This game is being played in Jacksonville, but they looked horrible. The Giants, for the first time since 2016, are above 500, and the betting odds have them starting 2-0. I get that the Panthers, and specifically Baker Mayfield, stink, but so do the Giants. They kind of lucked out getting that win, obviously, with the missed field goal. The Steelers, I could easily see beating the Patriots. The Patriots scored like 7 points last week against the Dolphins. Granted, the Steelers barely won and they had 5 turnovers from Burrow, so it's not like they looked great themselves. So all in all, a couple different teams that I liked here. It's just really cool being able to browse all of these odds on oddsjam.com. It's completely free. It takes 2 seconds to go to OddsJam NFL and search for all these games. But for my first official underdog team that I think is going to win, or favorite that is on upset alert, however you want to frame it, I am going with the Commanders over the Lions. The Lions, people are going to be, they're going to say, they took the Eagles, they only lost by 3. That's a typical Lions fashion. They had a ton of backdoor covers last year. They finished the year 11-6 against the spread. If you remember week 1 last year, they did the same thing. They were down big against the 49ers. They scored a bunch of touchdowns late. They made the score more respectable than it really was. They did the same thing to the Eagles. They were down by 17. They scored 14 straight points, 2 straight touchdowns to make it a 3-point game. But the game never really felt out of reach. Now, the Eagles did need to get a couple first downs on that last drive in order to win. So they very well could have lost if they didn't. But I never felt like that game was out of reach. The Eagles could move the ball at will. And I've long said on this podcast, I'm not a huge, obviously, Carson Wentz guy, but the Lions don't necessarily have the defense that I think can capitalize, nor did the Jaguars, and they still got 2 interceptions off of him. The Lions played with a lot of energy in week 1. They got the L. I could see this being a little bit of a letdown game, and I just like the fact that we're getting plus money for the Lions to lose. So the Commanders are going to be my first one. Let's see how we do here. The odds. The best odds you can get them at as of right now, if you click into a game, it pulls up all the odds, which is cool. It looks like you can get them at plus 115 on PointsBet, Caesars, and DraftKings. These 2 books, BetOnline and the OddsJam line, we kind of use as sharp books to see what pricing should be priced at. So we're going to go with plus 115. Not an official bet as of right now. Still waiting for the odds to shake out, but we will see. So that's number one. Number two, similar logic here, but I'm going with the Panthers. You know, they did at least have an impressive comeback in week one against the Browns. They were down 20-7 and scored 17 points in the fourth quarter to take the lead before losing on like a 58-yard field goal. That one definitely hurt, losing to the Browns, losing to Baker Mayfield's former team. But I'm still not quite sold on this Giants team. Obviously, of course, I'm not quite sold. I mean, props to Dable for going for two, going for the win. I did think that was cool. But let's not forget that immediately after that, they gave up, like they had 1 minute left. They gave up 40 yards with relative ease. Titans probably should have won. They just missed the kick. Let's not forget that the Titans had 5 sacks in that game. The Panthers have another good defensive line. Giants still have a poor offensive line. And let's not forget Daniel Jones threw a pick in the end zone, fumbled once, 2 turnovers, which has been the bugaboo for his entire career. So the Panthers, while I don't love Baker Mayfield, I wouldn't be surprised if he played better against the Giants than he did against the Browns, because I just think playing against his former team in week one, as we saw with Russell Wilson, eventually he kind of got his bearing straight. Both Russ and Baker played better as the game went on, but started kind of slow. Now, Russ obviously should have won 2 fumbles at the one. Baker played a little, obviously not quite as good. Obviously, he's the worst quarterback as well, but he hit Robbie Anderson for the long touchdown. Props to him for bringing the Panthers back. So I do like the Panthers to get the win here. It looks like the best odds you can get them at are plus 120 on PointsBet. So I'm going to go ahead and add this one. Panthers plus 120 as my second pick. And my third one, I do like the Steelers. I'm actually going to skip and I'm going to take the Vikings at plus 111 on Monday Night Football. So the Vikings looked good in week one against the Packers. They only let up 7 points. They scored 23. Now, Jefferson was slowed down in the second half, but he also blew up in the first half. And he's going against an Eagles defense that got shredded by the Lions. DeAndre Swift ran all over them. Jared Goff when he needed to, but they think they were 9 of 13 or 9 of 14 on third down or something like that. Now the Eagles are going against another good running back in Cook, quite possibly the best receiver in the league in obviously Justin Jefferson. And the Eagles offense, while they looked good, scoring 31 points, keep in mind 7 of those points was a pick 6 from the defense. So the offense scored 31 points. That was all either A.J. Brown or Jalen Hurts' legs. And I think while A.J. Brown is going to be good week over week, the Lions had pretty horrible defensive contain that entire game. It's like they forgot that Jalen Hurts could run. So I expect the Vikings to be better prepared to deal with Jalen Hurts, the running quarterback. I think they're going to force him to win through the air. And as we saw last year, Jalen Hurts, I don't quite think he's advanced enough as a passer to win that way. So if you take away his running ability and you just dare him to pass, I don't think he can do it. A.J. Brown will still probably have a good game because he's an absolute monster, but I haven't seen enough from Jalen Hurts, the passer, to make me believe that he can beat the good teams that I believe the Vikings are. I believe they're a good team. And the Eagles, the real reason why I'm fading them is because of their defense. I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk Cousins shredded them. The Eagles have long had issues with Kirk Cousins back to his Commander days, funny enough. And Kirk Cousins is undefeated against the Eagles since he's been a member of the Vikings. He hasn't lost. I think he's 3-0 or 2-0 if I remember correctly. They always have trouble with him. He gets the ball out quick. The Eagles defensive line really disappointed last week, only getting 1 sack against Jared Goff, and that was on a busted snap. So all in all, plus 111, obviously they're not huge underdogs. And if you click into the game, I can give you the best betting odds, which it looks like that is plus 110 on WynnBET. Pretty cool that you can see all this stuff for free. So they are going to be my third and final underdog pick. So they're going to be at plus 110. So we're going to go with the Commanders at plus 115, the Panthers at plus 120, and the Vikings at plus 110 as my 3 underdog picks of the week. Hoping for better luck this week, maybe a 3-0 day to get this record to a winning record, but we will see. Regardless, those are going to be my underdog picks. Stick with me as the week goes on. I'll give you my 4 sharp bets where I will lock in all of my favorite plays. Last week went really well, went 3-1. The only one I lost was the Jaguars money line. They were my official dog of the day, but I hit my lock, I hit the game prop, and I hit the player prop. So click that subscribe button on the OddsJam YouTube channel. Make sure to follow along with these picks as the week goes on. And that's it. So I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what I got right. Let me know what I got wrong. Let me know in the comments, and that's it. So enjoy the NFL Week 2, and have a good one.